Hey everybody, Chris here from Dummy Plug Conspiracy. We're counting down, just a couple more hours till the big live stream, and enough people had asked about this that I figured I'd give you a quick rig tour, a little documentary about what's going to be happening tonight. Here we go. There's kind of the proscenium 188-inch screen in the back. Of course I needed a TV because I've got way too much video content to figure it all out just on a laptop screen, and I'll explain that in a minute. A couple of guitars, about a zillion miles of wire, and I'll explain that too. But anyway, the main part of it is all here. And I've talked about this rig before. Using Ableton Live, not because I like it, but because it supports the Akai control surface that I like. Chaos Pad and the iPad are both going to be for sound effects and some processing stuff. That's all pretty self-explanatory on the audio side. But what I didn't have last time is I am doing some guitar tonight, so a couple different foot pedal things going on. This is mostly just for controlling the guitar stuff. I thought I was going to be able to program these buttons to trigger loops in Ableton, but these buttons only support MIDI continuous controller messages, not note on, note off messages. Bummer. So instead, I bought this ridiculous thing on Amazon for 15 bucks. It's an HID USB device that just emulates a keyboard. So when you step on it, it's basically typing the letters A, B, and C, which gave me what I needed to trigger these loops that I have to do hands-free while I'm playing guitar. Of course, the way this thing is shaped was kind of wonky, so I turned it backwards and reversed all those commands so it's easier for me to reach. You'll see that later. So over here in my modest video village, as I said, I've got the screen set up, running OBS for all the switching, streaming, and disc recording tonight. And then down here I have yet a second Akai APC40 Mark II to trigger all of my Resolume stuff. I already did a documentary about that. I'm not going to talk about it today, but all of these kind of do the same thing that the audio side does, except with video. So triggering the videos, triggering images, and applying effects is all going to be done here. And I have a sound card built in under here, a USB output device, but I had to have another one over here because, well, there's two computers, right? So I had to have one for output and one for input so that we could do the stream properly. There's also 3 cameras in this shoot, so I guess I'll talk about those next. But one neat thing I found is a software called Touch Portal that I can run on this second tablet that lets me pick shots and change scenes wirelessly. Everything here is pretty much connected to the network. This is on Wi-Fi. Everything else is wired, which is neat because the Resolume video content can actually synchronize with the audio stuff over the network with a link feature that is extremely cool. I'm using the Theremin tonight too. This was really tricky, putting this where I could reach it but not have it interfere with other stuff, because, you know, it's a field interference instrument. So if I've got this antenna too close to something, that controls volume and that can make it go quiet. And if I've got this antenna too close to anything, well, that controls pitch and it can make it just do crazy pitch things. So I had to figure out where a safe spot was for it. I'll probably elevate it a little more actually before I go on. So tonight's actually a 3-camera shoot. This is my kind of interview camera that's shooting head on at the rig and my talking head when I'm standing over there. You know, it's your basic 1080p PTZ camera. I'm running this one HDMI, and it's going into a converter back here that's grabbing it and running it in USB. That's going over fiber optics. Then this one over here is an NDI camera, which is the Neutrik standard, that's completely network based, which I love, really, really handy. And because that's, again, that's kind of the proscenium shot, that's the wide shot of the whole rig, I positioned it exactly where the projector is. The projector is going to fill that screen, and obviously to grab that shot, I kind of wanted the same perspective from the camera. So that's why they're over here. And then the third camera actually lives up here for an overhead shot. Because remember, we are not cheating. I am actually playing tonight. No thumb drive trickery or BS. So this is going to shoot down at the rig and show you what I'm doing at any given time. And we're going to flip between all of those and also periodically dump in some video content with no camera stuff. But down here, I've got my power distribution, my network switch. I have a couple custom panels here that let me Use ruggedized connectors, which I prefer to the regular stuff. That's a PTZ controller that I use to get the camera set up, which trying to do that from a remote position like this is miserable if you don't have one of these. One of the challenges with doing something like this is monitoring, because it's not too convenient to wear headphones. And luckily I have installed sound already out here on my Lanai. Nothing fancy, but it's good enough to hear. The only question was, how do I run a cable all the way back into my house? Because these are fired off the home theater system that's indoors on the other side of a concrete block wall. Luckily, Neutrik to the rescue. They have this awesome Neutrik Xerium wireless system, which is a 5 gigahertz completely indestructible, ultra high fidelity wireless system. And this transmitter is basically just taking a tap off of my main outputs and shooting them wirelessly back into the house where I have the receiver. Which, sure, I could have figured it out with analog cabling, but boy, this is a lot more elegant and saved me having to worry about powering yet another thing too, because these run on a 10-hour battery. So that was pretty much no muss, no fuss. I just stuck it on the rig and let it rip. So that's the rig. Hope to see you tonight. And I picked the coldest night of the year, so this should be a whole lot of fun trying to play bass with cracked fingers and 50-degree weather. We're not used to it down here, but hope I'll see you in a couple hours. I'm excited. Bye.